Welcome into KSL Sports Rewind. Dusty Litster and Dane Stewart is always presented by Heidemann and Associates.
Yeah, that's right. And if you've got any legal needs, you hear this every week. There's no better place to go than Heidemann and Associates, a full-service law firm with locations along the Wasatch Front. Can also meet with you down in southern Utah. If you have any legal needs at all, they'll take care of you for a free consultation. Tell them Rewind sent you when you call 801-754-4240.
And always we talk about Western Governors University. Get your degree of your choice on your own timeline. If you're not getting that degree because if it's work or you just don't have time to go or you can't find time to get into classes, Western Governors University allows you the flexibility to find the degree you want and get it done on your timeline.
Yeah.
Go to wgu.edu to learn more. So, week 6. Can you believe this? We're
Crazy,
6 weeks into the high school football season.
It was chilly last night, Dusty. Fall's here.
Well, I heard a certain camera guy that's related to me was teeth rattling a little bit at the end of the night.
He's doing jumping jacks between series, so
that beard doesn't keep you warm, I suppose. But a fun night and a great week. Week 7 will be really good. But I think we gained a little clarity, and let's get into our opening topic brought to you by Heidemann Associates. Go to utah.law, find the law office nearest you for that free consultation. And what we want to get into is RPI. RPI always draws a little bit of ire, or a ton of ire. Week 1 especially. That's why we wait. I actually thought the venom wasn't nearly as much.
It wasn't. I think there were reasons for that, but yeah.
Oh. Good insight.
Yeah, you're welcome.
He's out with the people. I just hang out in the studio.
That's what I bring, Dusty, right there.
So let's go through this a little bit. Let's go 6A first. This is updated from games as of Friday night.
Yeah.
So number 1, Sky Ridge. Number 2, Corner Canyon. 3, Lone Peak. 4, Farmington. 5, American Fork. Let's go through 10. I think 6A is that good.
Yeah.
6, Pleasant Grove. 7, Mountain Ridge. Interesting.
Yep.
8, West Jordan. 9, Bingham. And number 10 is Riverton.
Yeah, a whole lot of interesting takeaways here. So, 1, let's start. The initial release had Corner Canyon at 6.
Always.
And they bump up to 2 after,
Get AF.
Yeah. So, pretty interesting. PG was top 3. They were 3rd in the initial release. They dropped to 8 after the loss. A lot of movement from, the week 5 release to week 6 after games being played out. I think it speaks to the closeness of this because 2 through 4 right now are all separated by less than 1,000th of a point. So Corner Canyon, Lone Peak, Farmington, all right there. The Phoenix continue to surge. They had a close one this week. We'll get into that. But I think the top of 6A is that close. And I don't think this is quite the runaway that we had maybe seen in years past.
No, I don't think so either. And I think you're going to see that the bottom, I guess the floor of 6A is closer to the top. I think you brought that up a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Where it'll be a lot more of a dogfight, especially if certain things hold out.
Yeah.
We got injuries, and we'll figure out McKay Hillstead's probability going forward here for his senior year, what that can mean going forward for Sky Ridge, who's number 1 in the RPI, but number 1 in our ranking as well.
Well, I mean, here's another item. You look at a team. There was a team you did not mention in that top 10. It's not your fault. They aren't there. Right. The West Panthers.
Right.
And this is a group that, look, they took on number 1 Mater Day. We talked about
only
players,
get 0.5 or 0.75 for playing that out-of-state game.
Yeah,
right. Win or lose.
Win or lose, and no, only if you win.
All right, only if you win.
Only if you win.
And dings you if you lose.
But you look at a guy that we missed last week. I mean, Dusty, we talked about guys for potential Player of the Year candidates. We didn't even talk about Cisa Valahi.
Oh, we
who
didn't.
Balled out against Mater Day.
Right.
I mean, He brought it against the number 1 team in the country. This is a team that lost to AF by 1 possession on the road. They're outside the top 10. They're at 12 right now. That's going to be a team that's going to be in this thing, and they're ranked 12th. Right. Now, look, there's still more games to be played in the regular season. We'll see where that lands. But the reality is this is not 3 teams that can compete in 6A.
Well, certainly. Well, for West, I think what's the region itself gets beat up in the RPI and is not doing them any favors in trying to climb into that top 10.
Correct. Yeah.
So, but again, very, very interesting.
Can we make one more note?
Of course.
Granger.
Yeah,
we'll talk about the
Granger?
Lancers. 13th. That's got to be a program high. Tip of the cap to that coaching staff, Paula and company, doing great work. There's an interesting note about Granger, too. You Lancer fans, you hang on. We got something good coming up for you.
Well, interestingly enough, they're ahead of Layton and Syracuse in the ranking.
Don't sleep on Syracuse.
Both those two teams, you feel like they're coming.
Yeah.
Layton's sliding a little bit, but
they're still competitive.
They're competitive.
In these games,
They lost 3 straight after starting 3-0.
Yep.
We'll get into that a little bit more, too. Crazy game this week against Farmington.
All right. Bring on the pitchforks, Dusty.
All right, let's go to 5A. Number 1, Timpview. They want to know why they're number 1 ranking. First of all, it's points.
Yep.
But they get the number 1 ranking in 5A. Number 2, Springville. 3, Lehigh.
Pitchforks.
Interesting.
I'm just saying.
You beat Corner Canyon, and it's not carrying the same weight.
You're undefeated.
Yeah.
You beat the number 2 team in 6A. Pitchforks.
Yeah,
All
interesting.
right. Yeah.
Especially because, they haven't played down the classification. It's where the RPI is kind of.
It's a head scratcher.
But
And
Lehigh,
it's not. Okay.
Lehigh will have their shot.
They will.
Now, if it held, this means that Lehigh, if this holds, Lehigh and Timpview be on the same side of the bracket.
No.
No, they would be opposite.
Opposite.
Yeah, they would be opposite.
Yeah.
See, that's why I got gain here.
Championship game.
Right. That's all we want.
Yeah, it'd be
Stagger
awesome.
it, right?
Yeah.
I think at the end. All right, back to the ranking. 3, Lehigh. 4, Bountiful. How about Bountiful?
Yeah.
Coach Freckleton and
Doing a
Bountiful
heck
have
of a
been
job.
outstanding.
My
Get a
goodness.
big win against Bonneville. Held them off. Just buying that time for Corbin Cottle's
Return. Yeah.
off of his injury. 5, Provo. Interesting. 6, Stansbury.
Pitchforks.
7, Orem. 8, Bonneville. 9, Skyline. And 10, Box Elder.
Yeah, I think Stansbury's low. Now, look, let's be honest. All right, again, this is a mathematical formula, okay? This is not...
No
people
one's
put
dropping
things-
them on purpose.
Correct. And the UHSAA isn't dropping them. I'm not saying this to out the UHSAA,
Yeah.
but when you look at it, the way that the math works out, it's like, how is Lehigh 3 and how is Stansbury 6? Stansbury's maybe been one of the most dominative teams we've seen, maybe second to Skyridge.
Right.
Across the state.
Right.
And it hasn't been a super easy schedule. I mean, it hasn't been the most challenging. Their region will,
Lehigh and Timpview.
sure,
Right.
their region will hurt that a little bit, but they've played good teams and they've blown the doors off of them. Yeah, to me that's a little low.
Yeah, and a lot of Region 5 teams in there. Be very interesting. But again, when you look at the top of this, Lehigh and Timpview, they're going to play each other. But you don't see, Region 7. How about Orem? In a year where Orem's not playing overly well, they're ranked higher than they've ever been.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Yeah.
Well, it has been the year that Coach Sewell is expected out of this Orem Tigers. So very interesting and good to see Bonneville and Box Elder up as high as they are. All right, now to 4A. I think this one sits exactly where you think it might.
Yeah.
Number 1, Crimson Cliffs. Number 2, Desert Hills. Huge win against Dixie. Missed him in the picks video. My bad. 3, Dixie. 4, Ridgeline. 5, Snow Canyon. And I think we'll sit there at 5 because there's only 13 teams.
Yeah, there's a lot of separation from first to third. I mean, look, crazy things can happen, but in the RPI, if you're Crimson Cliffs, I'm kind of putting a stamp on a 1 or a 2 seed.
Right.
I mean, because you look, they're at 719. Dixie, who's in third's at 599. That's a big spread. Crimson Cliffs been strong this year. Desert Hills, there's a note about the Thunder too, by the way.
Back and played really,
that
really well.
changes things. That changes things. Crimson's already beat Desert Hills, so they wouldn't have to see them until the playoffs. But it'll be interesting to see if Desert Hills can work their way back up.
Not to that region tournament, a.k.a. the 4A state tournament.
Right, pretty much, yeah.
We'll see where that is. All right, 3A. And this one's very interesting too.
Yeah.
All right, number 1, Grantsville, the reigning 3A champs. Number 2, Juab. 3, Morgan.
How about this one, huh?
Number 4, Ben Lomond.
You heard that right. The Fighting Scots.
Since Emmett White, they have never been ranked this high in a poll. Unreal. By the way, that was like mid-90s.
It's fantastic.
5, Canyon View. Number 6, Richfield.
Yeah, look, Ben Lomond, heck of a job. Awesome to see them in the conversation. I do feel like this is a bit of a 3-horse race, Grantsville, Juab, Morgan. But, man.
And those 3 is going to be a lot of fun.
Yep.
Well, Grantsville and Morgan coming up pretty soon.
Yes.
Juab's played a great schedule. Got a good feel for who Juab is. That team is good.
Juab and Morgan both have quarterbacks, and Grantsville has one of the best defenses you'll see.
Right.
And they run the ball pretty well, too.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That semifinal championship can be a blast.
Yes.
All right, 2A. This one is 1 and 2. So, number 1, a little Sienna Nielsen San Juan Broncos sitting at number 1. Number 2, South Summit just behind them. Number 3, Emory. 4, Beaver. 5, Summit Academy.
All right, so you ready for a fun fact?
I love fun facts.
This is kind of interesting, and I think there's reasons behind it. But you want to know the team with the highest rated overall RPI? The San Juan Broncos. Now, they've played up classifications. You get extra points for that. That goes into that. Plus the fact that they're undefeated, that goes into, but San Juan, your highest rated team in the RPI. And I think, they've had a close game here or there. They've had some blowouts. They have I think put the stamp in that this team's for real in 2A.
Yeah, especially with a bunch of guys replacing players that were so dominant last year.
How about Emory in the top 3? I know you don't want to go there, but Emory in the top 3 and Beaver working their way back up after an 0-3 start.
Yeah, I got a Carbon Dino legacy player playing really well for Emory right now.
If players would just stay home.
Lindy Miller knows what I'm talking about. So she knows. All right, 1A, we're here. Number 1, LCA, Layton Christian Academy, number 1. Number 2, Gunnison Valley. Interesting note on the Bulldogs here in just a minute. But interesting that Gunnison Valley ahead of Enterprise at number 3, who's beaten Duchesne and now Kanab.
Yeah.
4 Milford, 5 North Severe. Kanab drops all the way from, I think, 2 to 6 in that loss last night.
I think they were 6 in the release.
Oh, they were. You're right.
I thought they were really low in the release. Right. I was surprised at how low Kanab was. They had a chance to prove that wrong. Enterprise got the win this week, but I was surprised where Kanab was.
Very, very interesting. And I only mentioned Gunnison Valley, very interesting. That they're number 2 in the 11-man poll. They're number 1 in the 8-man poll. Do they get to play in both state tournaments?
I don't know.
I think 1A should be able to have the alternate to play in both of them anyway.
Okay.
Just saying. If you have those schools who want to play 8-man football, you give the option to the 1A schools. Do you want to play 8-man and 11-man? Yeah, okay, you need to play in 2 state tournaments too. That's awesome.
Yeah, all right.
You don't agree?
No, I don't.
It's a different form of football.
You have to declare. Declare which one you're going to play.
Valley's playing them both to help out, giving them the numbers.
Yeah. I say no.
Could they take an 11-man and an 8-man championship? How about?
Well, we're at it. Why don't we do a 7s? The trifecta for Gunnison Valley.
No, because it's what it is. I'm just saying, give them the option.
I like lanes. This morning on my drive, I almost got ran off the road by a trucker.
Well,
I like lanes.
I had the same thing. By the way, we got to fix the northbound interchange.
Yeah, no kidding, huh?
We're a little wonky.
Give it 4 years, they'll get there.
We know some people. Hey, let's talk some football, shall we? Let's get into our game of the week. Dane had it. PG, the upstart Vikings, going in to take on Lone Peak.
Yeah, both teams coming in. PG 4-1, Lone Peak 3-1. Lone Peak had a bye week last week to prepare for the Vikings. This was a top 3 matchup in the RPI. Let's get to a homecoming night at Lone Peak, and it was the Knights, Dusty. And you talk about this team that's evolved. First series, they got a 3rd and long, and Caden Hodson able to find Robinson a 62-yard pass out of the chute. Lone Peak goes up.
Cuckoo.
No kidding. 7-0. Moose had the same line.
I know. That's it.
Second possession for Lone Peak after PG went 3 and out. How about Jaden Wright? What an interception on the boundary. Gave PG a short field. Lone Peak, that defense, it's looking like the Lone Peak defenses of yore. Set up a 4th down for PG. They could not convert. Turn it over on downs. No points for the Vikings. Later in the first half, though, in the first quarter, the Vikings able to finally get on the board. How about Nick Staffieri? The 15-yard pass to Cannon Hale on the screen. Cannon bounces off of the defender, takes it in. We're tied up after 1. Second quarter, Lone Peak looking for points. 40-yard field goal. Good. They take the lead. How about next possession? Another long ball, this time to McChesney and crew. 81 yards from Hodson. It's 17-7 for Lone Peak. All right, hey, let's get to a little fun, shall we? Late in the first half, a chance for points here. No, Christensen. I love the read. Love the read. Takes it for a first down. And then how about the wherewithal of Sanchez, the kicker, to get under center to spike that ball? They didn't have any timeouts left. Penalty on the play. Well, now here's the key.
Not only that, guys weren't set. It was an illegal formation.
So penalty on the play. You wind the clock. Mm-hmm. The play clock's behind the quarterback. Hodson doesn't know the clock's running. They come away with nothing.
Yeah.
Man, tough way to end that first half. It's a 10-point game going into half number 2. Not much in the third other than this. Caden Hodson would head to the locker room with an injury. So we'd actually see Rome Engelman would come in for Lone Peak. And he would find Cole Christensen for the passing touchdowns, 24-7 Lone Peak. PG, look, fourth quarter, they kept battling in this one. Staffieri was able to find Hale, 25 yards, make it a 2-possession game. They would have a couple more chances, the Vikings would, but interceptions from Ryder Christensen, able to take care of business as Lone Peak holds off PG 24-14.
That game got a little hairy. They got the 2 scores, got the stop, and they had the muff punt.
The muff punt, I mean, that was one where it was like, oh, here we go. I think there was 4 minutes to go or something. They muff it. Lone Peak gets it. Just couldn't quite get the job done.
But the turnaround of PG from last year to this year.
Fantastic.
Coach Walker, you see we joked about it on Red Zone. And this isn't meant in any slight whatsoever.
Yeah.
Put the disclaimer in so many different ways. Last year was like that trust the process year. We'll play all the sophomores because it's going to make us better. And you're seeing it this year. Steph Year is the leading passer in the country going into last night. I mean, I think we had a 2-week head start on people, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They're getting better there in PG.
Well, and you look at guys like Tua Wolfgram. That guy was a wrecking ball last night for Pleasant Grove. They are littered with a lot of youngsters. This is going to be a really good group. Coach Walkenhurst has this thing trending in the right direction.
Yeah, and good for PG. Lone Peak, by the way, 4-0 in the Black Lids.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
Week 6. First in-state win for Lone Peak.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they lost to Timpview and played out of state.
Yeah.
That is a fun fact. And a win in Region 4 nonetheless.
Yes.
All right, let's get to our best of 6A. And, of course, I'll go in here. Bounce back bowl is what we called it on the Red Zone. Corner Canyon and American Fork. Who would come back? Well, Isaac Wilson and Corner Canyon looked really, really good in this one. Wilson threw 3 touchdown passes, 2 to Quinn Hale, 1 to Kerr. But then it was Drew Patterson. How about the double dip? He had a pick 6 for a touchdown, and then the game-clinching 38-yarder at running back as Corner Canyon ran away from American Fork. American Fork made it a little hairy. It was 21-0.5. They scored 2 touchdowns. Champion Edwards went the full game at quarterback. They didn't alternate with Isaiah Jackson. They got 21-14. Then Wilson and crew got things done down the stretch.
Lincoln Jackson, right.
You're
good. I had you. I got you.
At least it's not Jack Johnson or Jackson Johnson or Johnson Jackson.
Or getting into completely different artists, so that's my bad. Hey, my best of 6A, Dusty. How about a Region 1 battle? We thought this one would be a ball game. Yeah, it wasn't. Syracuse all over the Davis Darts. How about this, Dusty? This is another fun fact for you.
I love fun facts.
Yeah, we all do. Syracuse had almost 450 yards of total offense, okay? They threw for 221. They ran for 234. Here's where it gets fun. Their leading rusher, 61 yards. They had 4 guys who ran for at least 40 yards apiece. And by the way, their leading receiver, I think he only had like 70 yards.
Oh, really?
Balance in that offense coming into play. Metcalf and company. Hamlin, another big run that he had in this one. Picked off Stevens a couple times. Syracuse is coming, folks. They're playing the right way at the right time. Watch out for the Titans.
Last game of the year is circled. They got to get there first.
Yes.
So that we could set up Farmington and Syracuse. Because we can talk about Phoenix maybe in quick hits here just a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, best of 5A. In our picks video, I told Brandon Madich, I'm supplying you the fuel. Well, he lit the match. Well, his boys did anyway. How about East? Goes in the Aaron Whitehead Bowl, Olympus and East, and it was all East. Tucker McCormick ran for 1, threw a 79-yarder for another. Miniamode and Omar Shaw chipped in with TDs, and the Leopards took care of business against Aaron Whitehead's Olympus Titans, 29-7. Look out. Here come Eastsiders. Come out and play. They're coming.
Yes,
Here comes East Leopards.
By the way, bad news at Olympus this week. Nash Taylor procedure. He'll be back next year, but that's going to be a big piece.
Loss.
Big piece that Olympus won't have. My best of 5A. We talked about it earlier, Dusty. Bountiful.
Yes.
They are not a one-show pony, and I love it. Owen Gilman, we saw him come in last year having to deal with the injured quarterback. The junior this year had another passing touchdown, another rushing touchdown. He does that every week for the Red Hawks, and Tidwell had a 22-yard pick 6 to seal this thing as they hand Bonneville their first loss of the year, 23-14. Bountiful. We were both on Bonneville to win Region 5. It might be the Red Hawks once again.
See where you got me. But yeah, Johnson gets the ball back with a chance. Ball got through a slant, got tipped up in the air, and a tip drill. Pick 6 went the other way there to clinch it for Bountiful. All right, best of 4A. How about a team just been taking it on the stinking chin every week? Comes into this game in Bear River, 1-4 coming in. They leave 2-4 going out against Logan. But it was, so I'll give you the notes here. Riker Jepson ran for 2. Threw for 2 for the Bears, but that's not the story. The story is Tyden Jones. How about this? He had 3 rushing touchdowns, a 43, 38, and the dagger of 73 yards on the night. Remember back in the day when we first started, they had RTD, return to dominance. How about the Bears on that one? Big win against Logan as they take this one 41-20. Logan coming off the week beating Skyview. That win for Bear River looks mighty fine for the Bears.
Region 11. It's wide open.
It is very interesting.
It's wide open. My best of 4A, he's back. Noah Fuyalatolo, I hope, back for Desert Hills, and Desert Hills looked back,
Yes,
taking
they
on the
did.
Dixie Flyers, and my goodness, a storm rolled into town in St. George. They've been dealing with storms all week, and it was a thunderstorm on Friday night. How about a 24-0 fourth quarter for Desert Hills? 3 passing touchdowns for Noah, 3 rushing touchdowns for Tyden Morris. The offense is back for the Thunder, and they are back in state title contention.
Yeah, I mean, emphatically. Putting a
Yes.
50 burger up on Dixie.
Yeah, 58-21.
Best of the rest. I don't know where to go with this one. This is Heartbreak City. The
Yeah.
Cardiac Cowboys didn't have it in
Oh,
them.
yeah.
This is all about the Enterprise Wolves. Ow, ow, ow! Staying unbeaten. How about this? 20-14. Enterprise able to hang on. The Cardiac Cowboys got a late touchdown. But on this one, it's all short yardage, man. It's Kyron Bracken, of course, with the rushing touchdown. Riker Phillips had a touchdown. Aiden Dougherty punched it in for TDs all under 10 yards. Tells you what Enterprise does. They
Yeah.
move the ball, and they make you play defense the whole length of the field, and they're able to take care of business. Bone had a touchdown late, but just could not get anything done down
Yeah.
the stretch as Enterprise stays unbeaten as they knock off the Cardiac Cowboys and improve to 6-0.
Statement win for
Yeah.
Enterprise, and good to put them at number 3 in the RPI. Hey, my best of the rest, we made a promise last week. When Millard gets their first win,
Yeah.
they're the best of the rest, and they took care of business against Grant, and they took care of business. How about a team that was 0-5 putting up 50 for the Millard Eagles, 50-7 over Grand. Morgan Wade had 3 rushing touchdowns, 22, 51, and 64 yards as Millard. Great to see you guys
Yes.
stick with it. Congratulations. Been so many tough battles. We talked about that last week, the Eagles taking care of it. And you know what? I'm going to go with one more because we are at Layton Christian,
Yes.
Dusty. And how about the second win in program history for Layton Christian over Duchesne coming into Friday? 1-19 all time were the Eagles against the Eagles. Second win in program history. Revenge for last year's loss in the state championship game, as they hadn't beat Duchesne since 2008. Vaitaki had 3 rushing touchdowns. Giatris Moala had 3 rushing touchdowns. 49-0 for Layton Christian. Watch out for the Eagles in 1A.
They're coming, and they're
Yes.
one in the rankings. All right, let's get to our quick hits brought to you by Western Governors University. Again, get your degree on your own terms at Western Governors University. Hey, you did an extra best of the rest. How about this one? Gunnison, number 1 in 8-man, number 2 in 11-man, and they were down 19-0 to North Severe.
Wow.
In the first half, came right back, scored 20 unanswered. It was Tyson Tucker finding. By the way, here is the all-name team. Skippy Jackson. I mean, that's like we're going back in time.
That's pretty good.
I'll go a little old-time voice. You ready for this little one?
Yeah.
All right. And Tyson Tucker finds Skippy Jackson for a touchdown. He ran for another.
You've been
And
doing
it-
radio too long, Dusty.
And it was Bryson Sorensen with a game-winning touchdown as the Bulldogs come back to stun the Wolves 20-19. Oh, baby. Like that?
Red Zone on radio Friday
Yeah.
nights. It rolled into Saturday morning for us.
Jeff Hansen will like
That's
that
a good one. That's a good one. All right, how about, you ready for this?
I think so.
I teased it earlier. You want to know what we missed last week? We missed something last week. How about Granger got
Oh,
their
no.
first win over Hunter in 21 years?
mercy.
21 years since the Lancers last beat the Wolverines.
Since Fahutahi? That's actually sans Fahutahi.
They took care of it last week. Matt Jones had a fantastic game. 12 tackles, 2 TFLs, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. That's a ball game for you
Yeah.
for the Lancers. Had 2 rushes for 65 yards and a touchdown. He absolutely dominated Hunter. And then they back it up, the Lancers do this week, with a 52-10 win over Taylorsville. Mamone had 4 passing touchdowns in this one and a rushing touchdown. Granger!
Yeah.
Got to get that in for Coach Vaitu, doing a fantastic job with the Lancer Nation.
Hey, there's a 6A team that's still unbeaten. We talked about them every week the best we can anyway. How about Farmington? You want to know
yes.
about Resolve? They wanted to kick a field goal to tie the game. Actually, to extend the lead, I think. Got it blocked and returned for 6 for
Yeah.
Layton. Layton takes the lead 17-14 at that point. Then Farmington goes right back. Easton White finds Ben Stuckey from 38 yards out with 4:14 left to go as Farmington improves to 6-0 on the season.
Yeah.
They held on, got a late interception as well to hold on and knock off the Layton Lancers. Lancers lost 3 straight in heartbreaking fashion.
You ready for a statement game?
I love saving
Not
games.
this one going on
Love
behind
saving
us.
games.
But look, I have been a little slow on a team this season. There's probably a half dozen of you out there being like, yeah, it's us. How about West Jordan? Taking on Riverton and the Jags, 34-9. They gave up the first points of the game. It was 7-0 Riverton. And then Jaguars just took it over. Campbell Brown had a block kick. He returned for a touchdown. Tabal had a 30-yard pick six as West Jordan. Man, statement. 34-9 over Riverton. The Jags, folks, keep an eye on West Jordan.
Hey, Region 3 report. Let's stay there, shall we?
Yeah.
Harriman jumped down 7-0.
Yeah.
And then Bingham took it 23-8 after that. It was 23 unanswered points for the Bingham Miners. Fotu had a touchdown. My guy Maddox Peck had another TD on the night for the Bingham Miners. Again, they scored 23 unanswered. The late touchdown from Harriman, all for naught. 23-15, the win for the Miners over the Mustangs.
It's a great effort for Harriman, though. It's been a tough year. Great effort for Harriman against their rival. We talked about how kind of sideways Region 11 is. I don't know if anyone except for some in Smithfield saw this coming. Skyview, 30-6 over Ridgeline. The Bobcats jump all over the Riverhawks in this one. Egbert had 2 rushing touchdowns. This game was 23-0 for Skyview. They took care of business, got revenge. Remember, Ridgeline got them last year. There was all that build-up for that game. Skyview saying, hey, that was a one-year fluke. Bobcats back on top.
Hey, how about a team that, man, they're coming in hot in Region 5, the Box Elder Bees.
Yeah.
In the Gunter Bowl, Gunter coming back to taking on Viewmont, old coach there, and now Box Elder, Jackson Sumco, state's leading rusher, 61-yard touchdown run to put the cap on it. Easton White had a big night, and Mason Jepson had a big night, as well as the Bees had a big evening. Boys out of Brigham City, 55-31, Box Elder over Viewmont.
We talked about Ben Lomond in the top 5. Well, we had a top 5 battle this week, Grantsville and Ben Lomond, and this was all Grantsville. The Cowboys showing why they are number 1 in the state. It was 56-17 at half. Grantsville cruises 62-20. But the real reason why we bring this up, you want to know the Grantsville combined scores over the last 3 games? They've scored 173 points and given up 33.
Pretty good. And that win against Provo looks even better.
No kidding, huh?
Because they really took it to them.
My goodness, man. Cowboys, take it easy, eh?
Hey, on a weekend where Nebraska and Oklahoma are playing, we have to make sure we talk about Brighton and Skyline. It is Utah's version in the 90s and 2000s, as it was old-timey stuff here. How about this start from Brighton? They lose that game to Desert Hills, 5-1, 41-23 the win for Brighton. It was a big night. Chase Gurr had a touchdown, or 3 touchdowns. Take that back, Nash Matheson. Welcome back, Nash. We missed you the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Gets a touchdown pass from Jack Johnson. But again, it was a big night for Brighton. 41-23, the Bengals getting Skyline. They could have given them championship games in the 2000s and 90s, but they got them on that one.
You know what matters, Dusty? Kickers matter.
Oh, they do?
How about Canyon View and North Sanpete?
Yes.
34-32. An early missed PAT. Got the schedule all wonky for North Sanpete. They could never dig out of it. They had 3 failed conversions. Lost by 2. Jackson Jensen had 3 passing touchdowns, 2 of them to Nick Macias. 34-32, Canyon View with the win.
Well, Canyon View was able to make a defensive play at the end, get an interception.
Yeah.
Really, really good. Hey, how about a team getting their first win? We got a couple of them. Maybe I'll go through all the notes, but how about this? Cottonwood got their first win of the year. Congratulations to the Colts. And then Mountain View beat Hillcrest. Gets their first win of the year as well. Always good to see the schools go on the left side of the win-loss column.
How about the night for Aiden Bradshaw? Beaver, we talked about the Beavers coming back. 12 carries, $175, 3 rushing touchdowns.
Hey, we can't finish this without getting through the best finish of the night.
Okay.
Spanish Fork trying to bounce back, going against Salem Hills, down 14-10 with 14 seconds left. Not Buck. It was Caden Vest. Show me your vest. Say it with your vest. Yeah, that one's for Vince Francis. 2 yards out with 14 seconds left, and the Dons come back to knock off Salem Hills.
This is where our sponsorship of Justin Heidemann comes to a close for this week's show. Provo, oh man, taking on Springville on Thursday night. Provo, they've got a 100-yard pick six from Drew Ducher.
He had the pick six against
And then Springville just moves down the field. That running game, they get a touchdown. And now we welcome Justin Heidemann's sponsorship back in.
And Justin, you can take your earplugs out. How about this? If you play Springville, it's going to be close.
Yes.
Any others?
Yes. No, I'm good.
Yeah, big week, a lot of fun. Week 7 coming up. Remember, Dane's got his game of the week. We've got Red Zone with myself and Jeff Hansen. Got all of our games well. We got a Thursday night game too in Region 2. Gene Plug. A dino's back in the home of a dino. I can't wait. It's been the first time since 2007.
If you don't wear the Letterman's jacket, I'm going to be sorely disappointed.
You know, I wasn't going to. But since you brought it. Me and Brian Brown on the call on that one. Going to have a lot of fun for our West coverage as well. But for Vince Francis and Dane Stewart, I'm Dusty Lister. Thanks for joining us for watching KSL Sports Rewind on KSLSports.com.